We are delighted you chose to be with us today, and we want you to have a wonderful experience. Please be assured your safety as well as your enjoyment of the event are our utmost concern. Please take a moment, look around, and identify the nearest two exits. Whether in a virtual setting at your home or physically in some formal venue, we must always be emergency ready. So please identify two exits in your current location in the event it is necessary to evacuate quickly and orderly in case of the need for an emergency evacuation. Also, as we strive to continue to stay safe and healthy, please follow the latest guidance from the CDC. Remember to wear your mask when necessary and wash your hands regularly. Greetings, and welcome to today's webinar hosted by the Pittsburgh Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Before we begin, I will be providing a few housekeeping items for our event. All lines have been muted, and to eliminate interruptions, all participants will remain in listen-only mode. If you have any questions for our presenters, please feel free to enter them in the Q&A pane that can be located via the bottom of your Zoom window. Questions will be addressed during the appointed time. We hope you enjoyed today's webinar, and now I'll turn it over to our chapter leadership for welcome and introductions. Thank you.
Thank you, and good evening. My name is Doris Smith, and I'm the co-chair of Economic Development for the Pittsburgh Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I'd like to welcome you to this evening's session on an entrepreneurial mindset and our focus this evening will be on grant opportunities. Did you know that over 44% of Black-owned business owners use cash to start their business venture? And did you know that cash amount, or the average level of cash for the Black-owned business with those Black-owned business cash ventures is $35,000 in startup cash? Well, this evening, we are going to hear more from Dr. Lynette Hookfin and Erica Goldsmith on grant opportunities for entrepreneurs. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Lynette Hookfin, and I will be presenting with Erica Goldsmith this evening. Today, we're going to share information about grant opportunities. Next slide. So what are grants? Grants are funding opportunities that you do not have to pay back. Your organization does not have to pay these funds back, but your organization must be eligible for the grant opportunity. Your team must apply, and there is a process to review applications and award recipients. So why do grants exist? The federal government distributes grants to state and local governments. This helps to share responsibilities for services or functions because state and local governments have better information about local preferences and cost. The federal government may offer states and localities incentives to undertake additional spending benefiting neighborhood jurisdictions. Next slide. Grant funds. Funds must be used for the scope of work only. Grant programs mainly address a specific problem. A grant will only fund projects that fall within the scope of that purpose. Funds must be spent responsibly. Guidelines require a written narrative for which applicants need to conduct extensive research and planning to complete and state what funds will be used for. So what are the different categories of grants that are available for you as an entrepreneur? There are 3 types of grants that are available: federal opportunities, state opportunities, and local opportunities. With federal opportunities, the US government entities offer funds from their own revenue. So examples would be such as your Department of Transportation, Department of Veteran Affairs, again, federal entities. Then there are your state opportunities. So these funds are from state governmental revenue. For example, the state of Pennsylvania may offer grant opportunities for business owners, just as well as the state of New York. Please understand that states manage funds differently. So although you may get information that the federal government is dropping funds in a particular area, but know that when it gets to the state level, the state funds are managed differently and may be sent to different departments. Then you also have your local grant opportunities. These funds are from private organizations, foundations, etc. For example, you may have local opportunities in the city of Pittsburgh, as well as the city of New York. So what are the pros and cons of grant opportunities? One definite pro is that you don't have to pay funds back. This is very, very enticing to many business owners, but also know that free money comes with a price. So grants will help your business gain credibility when you receive funding. For example, when you do receive a grant award, this looks very, very well on your business resume to be able to state that your business organization has been awarded, you are a recipient, and additionally, you can tell folks that you can definitely manage your funds well. Another pro is that grants are easily accessible. Information is always published in advance. And please note that the information is published for all to see. So this is not private information. Right now, we can all Google grants that are available in your area. And for all federal government entities, grants are published where you can go on a particular website and learn about what is listed, what has been forecasted, what has closed, past grants that have been available to others. So the grant process can take time. It is not a quick turnaround process like a business loan. This can sort of be a turnoff to entrepreneurs who are seeking immediate funds. For example, I helped an organization to complete their grant application, and the process of waiting took approximately 6 months. It was a great funding pot to definitely wait for 6 months. But if you're looking for immediate results, then you have to definitely have another way of bringing in additional revenue for your business, and also consider grant opportunities as well. Grants can be very, very competitive and difficult to receive if you have not put in the effort. So even if you have completed an application, you have to meet the deadline. You have to input the work that it takes in order to receive funds, because there are restrictions and conditions. And once you get funds, you must stick with the plan that was written to actually obtain the grant. Next, Erica is going to speak about the role for entrepreneurs to take as you travel for grant opportunities.
Hello, everyone. You could do the next slide, please. Okay, so for entrepreneurs, what are your first steps to seek grant opportunities? So the first step is you have to determine how you will utilize your funding. Funders want detailed information on how their monies will be used. Also, you would need the necessary paperwork. There's tons of paperwork that's needed even before you even think about applying for a grant. And then third is you have to search for the right opportunity. Every opportunity is not going to be the right opportunity for your organization. Next slide, please. So understand what funds are needed for your business. So the first one is every application may not ask for all the paperwork, but some do. And you have to read the application very clearly, because if one thing's missing, your application is thrown out. Also, funders want to know that your business is fiscally responsible. They want to know how you manage money. Grants are not to sustain your business or your organization. You have to have other funding revenues. And third, having a current business plan will help you create a proposed budget for future grant applications, which is needed because every grant application, you're going to have to show what the budget is. What are you using the money for? Next slide, please. So to learn what paperwork is needed for a business, you need your organization tax ID number. For nonprofit, you need depending on what type of grant, for the federal, of course, you need your 501c3 status. You need an organization chart. You need the organization's mission statement. And this is very important because your mission statement has to align with the funder's mission statement. So in the grant world, we call it, well, I call it like money chasing, because there are some organizations that will change their mission statement for a particular grant. And that is not what you want to do. So what your mission statement is, you need a strong, clear, and concise mission statement, and it have to align with the funder's mission statement. You need the brief overview of the organization and the evidence of its impact. What is your program? How is your program going to impact the community? You need an organization's website. You need a project budget requested amount. How much money are you requesting? You need the total project budget. You need an organization budget. Those are two different things. You have your organization budget, and then you have your total project budget. And then you need a detailed project budget, including a description of how the funds will be spent and how the request amount was determined. Next slide, please. So seeking grant opportunities. How you seek them, you could go through the internet, of course. If you're for your local and state, if you're not ready for a federal grant. Federal grant is on a whole nother level. Be specific about what you are looking for according to your business needs. This one is very important. Pay attention to the requirements. The requirements are not suggestions. They are essential components needed to qualify for that grant opportunity. I am also a peer reviewer, so I review grant applications. I read through them, I score them, and then I give my recommendation on whether these applications should be funded, yay or nay. And if you're not meeting that requirement of what what the funders want, your application is going to the other side. We're throwing it out. I have 25 grants applications on my desk now that I have to go through. And I don't have grant reviewers don't have time to sit there and guess what's going on. What do you want with your in this grant? Requirements are not suggestions. They are important and you need to follow them as the funder puts them out. Next slide, please. Manage grant funds appropriately. This is also very important. If you have an organization, you have to ensure all your team members are fully aware of the grant process, the award stages, and regulations. There's 3 award stages. There's the pre-award, there's the award, and then there's the post-award. And a lot of organizations forget about the post-award. They get the money and they think they're done, and they're not. Follow all necessary steps during the pre-award stages. This is very important also, because like I said, if you're not following all the necessary steps, if one thing is off, your grant application could be thrown out. Understand any legal agreements prior to accepting funds. You don't want to accept anybody's funds and you don't know the legal agreements behind it. Create a tracking calendar if paperwork is due on specific dates. With grants, there may be numerous deadlines, and you do not want to miss a deadline because then that puts you out of the running. Grants are very competitive, and you want to make sure your T's are crossed, your I's are dotted. Create a tracking calendar. You could do it with an Excel spreadsheet. You can do it on a notebook, whatever is your preference, but you need to have a calendar. And then also you need to monitor your spending. Next slide, please. So we put this slide in, always be prepared for a possible audit, just because they do come up. And even in some of the funders pre-award, they're going to ask, when was your last audit? And you want to be prepared. You want to make sure everything is on the up and up. So always be prepared for a possible audit. Next slide, please. And this is just if you want to set up a consultation with me, this is my calendar, and I can talk you through and I can meet you where you are in your business or in your organization. Thank you.
We thank you for that presentation, Lynn and Erica. And I think we do have some time for some questions for you. Anyone who has any questions, then please feel free to put those questions in the chat. For now, Erica and Lynn, if you'd like to come back on, then we'll just take a few questions. So you did talk about, Erica, your contact information. I'd have a question for both of you. What are your roles in grants? How did you get involved in grants, and how do you help people? How can people, what type of benefits do you offer to people?
So I got in grants. I was working at a nonprofit, and I was a small nonprofit, and I was in the same office as the director of development, and watching her write her grants and getting the funding for this organization really inspired me to look into grant writing. So I took a course with Dr. Beverly Browning, who is the author of Grant Writers for Dummies. And I had to write a federal grant in order to get my certification from her. And then I started my business, Erica Goldsmith Consulting, where I started writing grants. But what I've noticed during my consultation calls, a lot of the paperwork that I was asking that the funders needed, these nonprofit organizations did not have it. So I had to think, how can I help these organizations? So I had to really pivot and go another way. So now I offer grant readiness. And grant readiness is a very, very important part. You have to be grant ready even before you even think about applying for a grant. So my thing that I always say is that I help nonprofit organization leaders understand and navigate the funding journey, because this is a journey. It is not 1, 2, 3. You get a grant. I mean, you get a grant application, you fill it out, and you're awarded a grant. There are so many important steps even before applying for a grant. So I had to pivot my business and really try to help these nonprofit organizations get even grant ready even before they apply for a grant.
Okay, Thank you, Erica. Same thing for you, Lynn. How did you get involved in grants, and how are you able to help people?
So I've been involved with grants for a very long time. I started writing grants as a classroom teacher, a principal, and reviewing grants at the district level in school systems. After my career in education, although I'm still involved with many school districts and supporting them with grant opportunities, I began to help small businesses and nonprofit organizations. And the work just scaled up from there. Very excited to help people who just needed that extra push in terms of growing their nonprofit budgets, or just being confident as business owners and leaders in seeking additional funds in addition to their business revenue. I've written grants as a parent as well. I'm an advocate for children with special needs, and I found as a parent that there were many things that were offered in terms of grant opportunities that I could get for my child while he was growing up, and it just spiraled from there. I love doing it. I've always been a strong writer, and I really appreciate the clients that I have. I have people who are novice organizations in terms of grant writing opportunities. I have other tier groups that are high flyers. They seek grant opportunities throughout the month. And so it's a pleasure to work with all levels.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we actually have some questions coming in. First question, and I'll give this one to Erica. When writing the business plan before applying for the grant, would you recommend that it is a short-term plan or a plan that includes details for a few years down the line?
A business plan is always going to be a rolling document. You're always going to have to change it because your business is going to change. So you can do it down the line, but just know that maybe 2 years down the line, it's going to change. But you have to write it, and so it's competitive enough where whenever you get the funders in there that they know exactly what your business is about, but it's going to change. It's not, you don't write it and sit it up on a shelf for 20 years. It's no, it's going to it's going to change.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Lynn, here's a question for you. You know, some people have for-profit businesses and others have nonprofit businesses. And when you're talking about applying for grants, how do you know what you're eligible for? Many people think that you can only apply for a grant if you have a nonprofit. Can you shed some light?
I sure can. And that's a fantastic question, because as you are beginning to seek for grant opportunities, understand that they're categorized. So if you are a leader of a nonprofit organization, of course, you're going to seek funding for nonprofit services. And if you are a for-profit leader, grant opportunities are available as well. You have many business grant opportunities that are out there, also at the state and local levels. And so I would encourage entrepreneurs to start in your local area by understanding what are the priorities in your area, and know that wherever the priorities are for your area and or your state, you're going to see funding opportunities that are listed. The work comes in where you are actually aligning what opportunities exist for your particular organization. And like Erica mentioned before, it does not work where you shift what you're doing in order to compete for funding. It's what you actually do, and aligning what you actually do to the opportunities that exist. So as supporters to those who seek grant opportunities, we cannot create what exists. We can't create the deadlines. We cannot create the opportunities that are available at all levels. But what we can do is support you with aligning your goals and your needs to what is actually available. And she spoke about something that was very powerful in the presentation when she mentioned that having a business plan and a roadmap of where you're going and what your needs are for your particular business is so helpful. I explain to people all the time that searching for grants is like shoe shopping. You need to understand the shoes that you're looking for before you go into the store. Because once you learn all of the funding opportunities, you'll find that some organizational leaders are putting on shoes that they should not be wearing. And if you could think about shoes that you have purchased and you say, oh, I just love this shoe and I'm going to wear it, and you can't walk down the block, your feet are hurting. You never want to get into a situation with grant opportunities where you're locked into an agreement and you don't like the way that it feels. So it has to be a great match, and understand that the opportunities exist. So every day we can pull up grant opportunities. You just have to align what's best for your organization. And I hope that helps.
Okay, yes, that does help. And we have some questions coming in. I want to thank Kalia Hogan for the question she asked. We have a question from Quintina Thomas now. Where's the best source to find grants? Do you recommend a certain website or platform? Erica, you want to take that one?
There's always grants.gov out there. There's the grant station. So if you Google where to find grants, there's a list of different websites, but grants.gov is a good website to find different grants.
Okay.
Locally, I mean, I would just Google in your area what type of grants you're looking for, and there's a lot of websites that'll come up.
Okay. And someone asked about specifically searching for grants in certain areas, such as health and wellness or any other area. Any special tips for that?
I think that first of all, let's go back to understanding what the business is first. Is it for profit or nonprofit? And you definitely want to search for your particular category. So let's say if your category is health and wellness and you are a for-profit organization, then you can start at the state level, understanding where the funds have been dropped, and know that you just don't qualify for just one category. You qualify for a business owner type of grant. You may qualify for a minority-owned business owner grant. Several categories. If you are a female, different types. So if I were an entrepreneur who's listening and interested in grant opportunities, I wouldn't limit myself. And at the same time, I would organize my team, or if it's just you as an entrepreneur, and understand what you're searching for first. So for example, if I am a business owner and I'm looking for specific equipment that can help me with my business, then I'm going to be looking for grants that can definitely help me with that. I would not get into a grant where I'm seeking marketing funds, because I'm going to have to abide by the regulations for the particular grant. So I would say to those who are first starting off, please understand what all the grant entails, because as we mentioned before, there are regulations that you have to abide by, and you want to make sure that you're spending funds that have been awarded to you properly.
Okay, thank you. I think that kind of addresses another question we had from Kalia Hogan about, can grants be categorized by product types, such as niche-based grants and funding? And I think that the answer is yes, based on what you said. And here's another question. What are some unique challenges minority-owned businesses face when securing capital or starting a growing business? What are some suggested strategies to work around these challenges? And let's see what Erica, and then if Lynn wanted to add anything.
Some of the challenges are that, well, I'll do the main one, is that some of them just don't know. You don't know what you don't know. It's there's so much out there, and a lot of people get fed the wrong information. So my thing is, whenever I was on my consult calls, I would, that you just don't know what you don't know. So I would say lack of knowledge would probably be one of the unique challenges that minority-owned businesses have. And I mean, and it's not just minority-owned businesses; it could be any business, but that probably would be my one.
Okay. Lynette, what are your thoughts on this, and what are some suggested strategies, if you have any, to work around any of the challenges?
Well, as Erica stated, I think capital, many startup groups need seed capital in order to start their projects and launch their dreams and visions. But you never want that to become a barrier. You just have to search for the information and stay focused on what you're actually doing, ways that you can work around it. If you are a group that's starting off, there's startup funding out there. There are many grants that offer startup funding opportunities for entrepreneurs. There are also grant opportunities that they will tell you, in order to be eligible, you have to be in existence for a certain amount of years. So for the mid groups, right, those who have started, who are in 3 to 5 years of business, there's a category for you as well. Again, it's not as simple as, let me search for a grant and now I'm applying for it. You have to go through the fine lines to read what it's all about. I think many people get excited about free money, but I think I stated that very well in the very beginning, that free money comes with stipulations. Yes. And in order for you to be good stewards of your finances, people want to know, what are you planning on doing with this? And sometimes the application process can be a little grueling, where you just say, hey, I don't even want to do this, but never give up, because people get awarded every day, and know that people continue to try. I've been working with groups who go out for grant opportunities on a regular basis, but this is what they do. They're in the business of doing that in order to bring in additional funds. And like Erica stated, not just for their only source of income, but to bring in additional funds to support the programming of their organization.
Okay, great. Thank you. So here's another good question. We've got some good questions, and we have maybe time for another one or two. Are there grant opportunities for professional service businesses, like consulting, professional development training, and those types of things? Erica?
They are far few between. You just need to do your due diligence and research exactly what you are looking for. But they are out there.
Okay.
They're obviously, they're not as common as the business and the nonprofit ones, but they are out there.
Okay. And here's another question. Is there certain verbiage to be used when applying for grants? And I know that's a broad question, but I think that they're just asking a plea for what kinds of words should I be using and putting on these grant applications. Lynn?
I think that
It's
is
not,
a
I mean,
fantastic. Go ahead, Erica. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
That's a fantastic
There,
question,
it's
because
not.
yeah, go ahead. It is.
That is a fantastic question.
It is. It's where you have to understand what the application is asking for. I know that I've helped and supported many businesses in which team members have never received grants, and they're like, wow, you're not in this particular industry, but yet we finally got a grant opportunity, and it's not rocket science. It's called writing what they're actually asking you. And I find that when you're in your own industry, sometimes it helps to get an outside person to help and support you with the writing, because when you're in the field, sometimes you may have a tendency to give too much information in which they're not even asking. And many grant opportunities will state only within a certain amount of words or characters. And so if you don't give them the responses that they're looking for, the definite answers, then that they're going to score it as what you have listed. And you want to make sure that you're reading all the instructions and the specific questions that they are asking in order to nail those applications.
Okay, thank you. Well, we thank Janelle Norfleet for that final question, and that's all the time we have for questions. Thank you both, Erica and Lynn, and we will go to the next part of our program. Will we be announcing? Yes, we are going to announce our winner this week, and we are very excited about this week's winner. Lexis Wright is this week's participant winner, and she is going to be receiving an Amazon gift card. So congratulations, Lexis Wright. And now we do have our spotlight, and we have Shanae Washington, who is going to highlight her business for us. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Hi, my name is Shanae Washington, and I am a creative brand strategist from New Orleans, Louisiana. And I help entrepreneurs align their businesses with a brand strategy. Now, if you're asking, what does that mean? Girl, I'm so glad you asked. All right. Can you go back to the slide? Thank you. Okay. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard entrepreneurs talk about these pain points? I'm sorry, now you can go to the next slide. Are they asking, Lord, why am I posting on Instagram every day and I'm not seeing any sales? People don't want to pay my price. I've already spent so much money on Facebook ads, but I don't see any results. They just don't know what the first step is, or really what the next step is to see any traction in a business. And y'all know the first thing that usually come out of their mouth is, I need to rebrand. I need a new logo and a new website. So look, y'all, let's debunk this right now. A nice logo and website is not where your brand ends. And it doesn't exactly generate sales either. It's all about the right messaging. Messaging is key, and it's the key to building a brand and to generating sales. We get so wrapped up in the pretty that we forget about the power of our words. Now, look, pay attention to when you're meeting people and they're telling you about their business and what they do. If they take longer than 30 seconds to simply say what they do, girl, you better run. That means that they have a clarity problem, and they either are not experts yet in their field, or they doing too many things in their business. So that's where I come in. My specialty is brand strategy. Your brand strategy is your guiding star in your business. And I want y'all to remember that the goal of a business is to make money, but the goal of a brand is to create impact. And if you don't remember anything that I say, please remember that money always follows impact. Can you go to the next slide for me? A brand strategy answers 7 questions. Who am I? Who do I serve? What is my transformation? How am I different? What am I saying? What is my brand experience? And of course, how do I look? Now, look, CEOs, CEOs, entrepreneurs, business owners, whatever title you gave yourself, should be looking to become the expert in as far as in branding their own business. The framework, those 7 questions I just said, will show you how to become that expert. And even if you hire somebody to do this for you full time, you still need to be knowledgeable of what you're building your brand to and how to measure success. All right. If you want to dip your toe in to see if, to kind of see where your brand is now, can you go to the next slide for me? I offer brand audit sessions, which is a 1.5-hour session that allows me to ask you specific questions about your business and your current brand touch points. Is really the first level to exposing the areas of opportunity in your brand and in your business. And the last thing is that I'm launching a group program that will teach entrepreneurs how to become branding experts of their own business and how to launch brand awareness campaigns. And I'm going to be doing a beta version of this program next month to get testimonials before I do the whole big rollout. So if you're interested, you can visit ShanaeWashington.com and you'll see Business Spotlight right there, big on the left side of the screen. And you can just tap into any one of those things. Thank y'all so much for y'all time.
Thank you, Shanae, for your presentation. That's very, seems like you can offer a lot of help to a lot of people. We also have a spotlight for our Marie Sales.
Thank you. I'm Marie Sales. I'm a portrait photographer. I'm based in Pittsburgh. I specialize in personal branding and headshots, offering a luxury portrait experience to help my clients really stand out from the rest in their businesses. Can you go next slide, please? So a little bit of background on me. I'm an accredited and award-winning portrait photographer. I've been in business since 2017. I am a former cosmetologist and makeup artist, and I bring that up because I actually bring that into my business when I am taking people's portraits. I really implement the beauty background that I have into our portrait sessions. I have been featured in Rangefinder Magazine and the Portrait System podcast. And I offer additional services, including modern glam photo shoots, high school seniors, men's GQ portrait photo shoots, couples and families, and maternity and motherhood and boudoir as well. Next slide. So I always ask everybody, what does your current headshot or business profile image currently look like? If it looks like one of the ones on the screen, if it's a no picture, a flower, your pet, a cartoon, or you have some people cut out of it and it's from, or maybe from wedding, it's definitely time to update your business image. And even that includes, even if your headshot is maybe 5-10 years old. And I've also had others tell me that the last time they've been photographed was either the high school senior pictures or their wedding day. And sometimes they're using those photos. So if it looks like any of these, I am here to help you update your brand imaging. Next slide, please. So a couple of fun facts. So you actually have the first 7 to 10 seconds. That's the time you have to make a great first impression. As we all know, everybody's online. We all have our social media presence. Usually that first 7 to 10 seconds is when they see your profile and they're looking you up or they're going on your website. Also, with your brand colors, a signature color can also help boost your brand recognition by 80%. And a great imaging for your personal branding and headshots, they're money makers. A good headshot and consistent branding can attract more ideal clients and therefore bringing in additional money for your business. Next slide. So your headshot is your first hello. So I think we've looked at businesses, we looked up them either on LinkedIn or their website or social media to see who they are and a little bit more about them. That truly is your first hello. They want to see who you are, who's the person they're going to be talking to. So having that professional online presence will definitely help showcase your personality and your professionalism within your profession and your business. Next slide. So what I offer is I offer luxury branding experience. So what we do that's a little bit different is we do photo shoot design and styling. So before every photo shoot, I'm sitting down with you and finding out about your brand. Who are you and what is your brand? Are you doing a brand redesign? What is your history? What is your ideal client? How do you want to be seen? Those are all the things that we're going to cover because that's going to help me create images for you. I also offer professional hair and makeup. I think that is key if you're having a branding photo shoot, to that way you're looking and feeling your absolute best. And it's a custom photo shoot. So for businesses, what I generally offer is beyond just headshots. We're creating images for your website, for your social media page. We're going to showcase to your potential clients what an experience is like with you. So we're creating more than just your average headshot. And then I offer signature retouching. It's important that you have really clean images. You're going to be using these potentially for a long time. And we offer that service for you as well. Next slide, please. So I just like to remind everybody, you truly are the face of your brand. So you are that human connection that your customers and clients can relate to. So your brand imaging can do so many things besides just being your first hello. It can tell a story. So as I mentioned before, it can, if showcasing what they are to expect when they have an experience with you. So it can tell that story. It can help build trust, showcases who you are, that you're authentic, and creates that brand recognition. They're going to, see your images over and over if they're, looking at your social media website, on your website, etc. Like it creates that recognition. Additionally, opens door to new opportunities because a lot of us, we are connecting online nowadays, and helps build your network as well. So if you're online on various social media platforms and say you don't have a picture right now, or maybe you're not posting anything about who you are, the person behind the business, they're not going to be able to connect with you. If you have that, that can help build your network because you have that trust built and they want to reach out to you and connect. Next slide. And I also like to highlight that we can do more than just having standard, maybe like a gray or any standard background. What makes you stand out? We can create images for you that have fun backgrounds. And as I mentioned, that signature color for your business can create 80% more brand recognition. So implementing that into your headshots is key. And creating fun images that maybe set you apart from the rest. Those are things that I can offer to you as well. And next slide. Additionally, as I mentioned earlier, creating content for your website, as you can see here on the screen, doing product photography, client experience, marketing imagery. These are all things that if people are navigating through your social media page and your website, we're creating images for all those placeholders. And that way you constantly have content outside of just video, which I offer as well. You have content that you can use to post, whether it's, weekly or monthly, you have that created for your business. And next slide. So, and here's a little bit my contact information. As I mentioned, I do offer headshots and personal branding in Pittsburgh, and I'm located in the North Hills. So I'd definitely love to connect with you. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Marie. Shanae and Marie, we have a little bit of time for questions. So if you can come back on, then we can chat a little bit about both of your journeys as entrepreneurs and branding experts, it looks like. It'd be nice to hear a little bit about how you got started, what motivated you to go into this type of business and become an entrepreneur. How about if you start first, Shanae, and then we can have Marie answer the same question.
Sure, I love that question. So my back.
Oh, you're on mute.
Signature Zoom fumble. Sorry.
No problem.
Okay, so I actually love that question. My background has always been marketing. I graduated with a marketing degree, and it was very hard to find what my area of passion would be within marketing, because it's such a broad field and you can go into so many different areas. So I've always had a design background. So I decided to try to merge design and strategy together over the years. And my last corporate job, I was literally running a marketing agency. And I was like, man, if I can make this man all his money, I could do it for myself. And ultimately, that's how my entrepreneurial journey started, and I actually went full time with my entrepreneurship at the beginning of COVID. So I had no idea COVID was going to be as big as it was at the time, that the whole world was going to shut down. But I moved when God told me to move, and it was the right time, for me to do it. So anyway, last thing I'm gonna say is that I've kind of pivoted a little bit from being so design focused into strategy, because I've come across so many entrepreneurs that they want the pretty logo and the pretty website, but they don't realize that you need more than that. They want all of that, and then they're like, okay, sales, come to me. And that's not how it works. You have to have a strategy. And if you don't even know how to articulate your business, how are you expecting anyone to, to purchase from you? Because a confused buyer, they don't buy. So that was why. So that's where my heart is, of actually helping entrepreneurs align their business with a brand strategy that helps them get clarity on who they are.
That's very inspiring, especially how you were helping someone else build their business and you decided to do it for yourself. That's wonderful. How about you, Marie?
So I know I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and my passion is in beauty. And for me, it was kind of dipping my toes in various areas of the beauty industry and cosmetology, and makeup artistry. And my passion wasn't there. And I picked up a camera, took some photos, and realized how much I fell in love with taking portraits of people and seeing them transform. And it's really evolved over the years into bringing my beauty background into my portrait business, of having people come in for a transformation experience, whether coming into me for headshots and personal branding, or they're coming in for their own portrait experience, having them come in, be transformed, not just with hair and makeup, but during their photo shoot, really stepping into confidence and walking out feeling insanely empowered, feeling on top of the world. And I think, especially with headshots and branding, you feel so confident about your business, and seeing people on camera with talking about their passion, which is their business, oftentimes about their passion, and really creating that imagery that makes them excited to show who they are, is really my passion, just seeing people light up on camera.
That's great. Well, we talked about grant funding today, so I'm just curious, how did you get the funding to start your businesses? Shanae, you want to go first?
So I actually made my last employer my biggest investor. So I knew that I was leaving. I put in, my resignation. I gave them like 2 months notice, and which was way generous, but I gave them two months notice, and I took every penny that I had that wasn't going towards paying essential bills, and I put it towards my business to just get me started. And I walked out of there with 2 clients on retainers, and that was enough to pay my bills and get it going. But I made my boss my investor, and he didn't even know it.
Well, that is amazing. You said that you are about strategy, and obviously you truly are. Thank you for that. Marie, how did you get your funding?
My funding was, I started my business as a side hustle. It was the weekend thing. And being that it was a side hustle, I had my main corporate job that I was able to help fund my business in the initial stages, while I got my foot in the door and figuring out who I wanted to photograph, what I wanted to do. And then from there, it just kept growing. And so really being able to have that side hustle and have some stability with that corporate job as I moved into full time, that really assisted me in the funding.
Wow, that's awesome. A lot of people dream about that, turning their side hustle into their main thing, and you did it. That's great. Here is another question. What do you think was the biggest challenge that you had in becoming an entrepreneur? Shanae?
Um, you know, I wouldn't say I didn't have I don't feel like I had challenges becoming an entrepreneur. I think growing in the journey is really where it lies, like where some of the challenges lie, because anybody can become an entrepreneur. But I would say for me, it's always about pricing. Like, especially service-based businesses, we tend to not always charge our worth. And pricing, it's so much deeper than just throwing out a number. Not only is it research against everybody else in your market, but it's also you having the confidence. Like, this is a personal thing. You have to have the confidence to say, you know, I know the value that I bring to said company or to said business or to said client. And I'm going to stand on that. And this is what my value is. You're either going to pay it or you're not. So being able to evolve to standing in what I feel like my truth is and what my value is and what I bring to the table, I set my price with my chest now. So, but it was a journey to getting there, though.
Yes.
It really was.
That is awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And Marie, we'll let you have the final say. What has been your biggest challenge?
Mine is probably very relatable to Shanae, and it was self-value, navigating that as a business owner, and entrepreneur, and valuing the services that I offer, and not getting stuck in the trap of comparison of what everybody else is doing, and focusing on what I have to offer, what I'm doing, and staying in my own lane, not focusing on everybody else.
Beautiful. Thank you both, Shanae and Marie.
Thank you.
Wow, what an awesome thank you, Kim, for leading us through with the questions, and to Shanae, Marie, Lynette, and and Erica, thank you so much this evening for an awesome information on grant finding opportunities and your brand strategy. We got brand strategy from two different perspectives, and I definitely took something out of both. But one key thing, as we summed it up, really is just really knowing your worth. For our entrepreneurs, that seems to be a challenge for everyone. Is your value. You want to give everybody the best deal. You want to do what's right, but you also need to do what's right by you and know your worth. So thank you. You'll see right here we have our entrepreneurial mindset series. Our last session will be next Tuesday at 6 p.m. So please join us as we wrap up our entrepreneurial mindset series. You'll see our upcoming events as well. We have our Not Your Average Bingo. It's a virtual event. It'll be Saturday, January the 20th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So just scan that QR code so that you can get your ticket and join us for our Not Your Average Bingo party. I'm sure you will have a great time. It is always a great time for us. And that concludes our session for this evening on grant finding and opportunities, and also our brand management and strategies. Thank you for joining us this evening, and we look forward to you joining us next week for our final session on an entrepreneurial mindset series. Have a great evening. Thank you.